Hello, I'm James George and this is Creative Beacon. This week I'm going to talk about making selections. So you can see here you have images of these baby chicks, and let's say that you just wanted to make a selection of one. Well, how would you go about doing that? And this week I'm going to show you the hard way, and next week I'm going to show you the easy way. So if you wanted to make a selection of this, before you had tools like the quick selection tool, you would have to use something like the magic wand tool in order to make a general selection, and then you would hold shift to add to that selection. And so you can see here already I've wasted a bunch of time trying to add to this selection in order to get all of the chick, and that's a real pain. You could spend 20 minutes sitting here clicking trying to make this selection, which is not what I would recommend at all for trying to make a tough selection like this chick. Also, you have tools like the Lasso Tool, which is just where you can make a loose general selection. You can see here that it's just however you can make a selection with your mouse. So like you can use it to include general areas in your selection, but it's not perfect. And you can see like there, I had a little, accidentally clicked outside of where I wanted to, and now that's part of the selection. And so that can be a real pain when you're trying to select difficult objects. There's also the polygonal lasso tool, and if you hit Command or Control D, you can deselect whatever you're trying to select. Now, the polygonal lasso tool is nice for straight objects that you want to make a perfect selection around, but you could see here that, this isn't going to select the hair or the fuzz on the baby chick, but it will do the general shape around it. But, if you're wanting a more refined selection, this is definitely not the tool for you. And so I'm going to go back around and complete that and deselect it. Now there's another tool that we used to use a lot before, like I said, before we had the quick selection tool and other tools that we have available, where it automatically detects the edges as you click and drag around an object. So it creates all these anchor points in your selection around an object. So however closely you follow this edge, it will determine where the selection should be made. And it's fairly accurate and it does a pretty good job, but boy, when you cut it out, it looks really jagged, and it uses every one of those points. And if you mess up, it doesn't know what to do, and then you got to go and backtrack, just like I did with the foot just now. It's hard to make a precise selection. And so you can spend 5 minutes trying to make this selection like you want, and it still won't turn out like you really want it to, because it won't be a smooth selection around your object. And so for time purposes, I'm trying to make this quick around this baby chick, and I'll show you the results of this, because this is what we used to use a lot back in the day. I've been using Photoshop for almost 10 years now, maybe longer. And so there, it makes a selection around the chick. Now, if I don't do anything else and I just simply Command J that on another layer, what I'm going to do is right below it, I'm going to place a white layer. So you could just see exactly what I had selected. Fill that. And so you can see, if I zoom in and use the hand tool, it does a terrible job of differentiating where the fur or fuzz of the baby chick in the background is. The feet are nice and smooth. I'm actually surprised by the results of it, but it looks like it cut off part of the toe or something there. Not a very good selection at all. These are all the hard way to do this, and the way we used to have to make selections. And so I'm going to go ahead and show you the easy way to do this. So let's say you have the quick selection tool, and you just make your general selection. You just click and hold your mouse over this area. As you click and drag, it's going to add areas to the selection. So here's your general selection. It's already much faster than anything we've done. And then up here is the key to success, and it's called Refine Edge. When you click that, it's going to show you a preview of what you can see. Now, the easiest part of this is just going to go to Radius and bring it up about halfway. You can already see that the fur has already come back into the selection. From here, you're going to want to take a look at how you're going to export this. And see, there are different views that you can look at to where you can tell how your mask is doing. You can see from the quick mask mode that maybe this isn't exactly how you want it. So you can adjust things like the radius and feather amount in order to smooth your selection. And the results that you get are just dependent on what you dial in here. We turn Smart Radius all the way up. You can see that for this, the fur, it works very well. You can see that there's very little mistaking here. And then we'll get rid of the smoothing, and then we will turn down the feathering just a little bit. Now, output, you want to decontaminate, and you also, you can see from the amount, it changes the results you get. So I'm going to add, I'm not going to pump it up all the way because you can see almost like a dark edge effect around here, and you don't want that. You want it to be a smooth transition. So turning it down a little bit to maybe 80% gives you a much better, more natural look. And so the output to new layer with layer mask is the best results because you can refine that mask if you need to. You can go in and paint in areas and paint out areas you don't want. And so once you're done, you click OK. What's going to happen is Photoshop runs this, and then the results are placed on a new layer with a layer mask. Now, if you hold down Alt or Option and click on that, you can see the mask that is produced, which is very accurate. Trying to do this with the Lasso Tool or anything like that would be impossible. I don't see how anybody could do this. However, with the Refine Edge capability, it produces a pretty much picture-perfect mask, better than I could do by hand almost every time. And so there you have a perfectly cut out baby chick that you can drop on any other background and it will look perfect. Well, I hope you guys get a lot of good use out of this. This will help you make great selections with your images. If you have any questions about this, feel free to leave them in the comments section of Creative Beacon, and I'll do my best to try to help you. That's it for this week. I'm James George, and this is Creative Beacon.